I'm joined now by Lindsay Chervinsky. She's an author and presidential historian. So, Lindsay, first I want to get your reaction to the impeachment manager's final points as they close their case a short time ago.
Well, it was really a powerful argument, and I hope that all Americans heard what they had to say, and especially the senators who have to be the jurors. I think that if this behavior is not impeachable, then I'm not really sure what is. And even if they don't decide to hold Trump accountable, they have to think about the future and what sort of precedent they're setting for his successors.
We know that Trump's defense team will give their rebuttal on Friday. And as we heard our correspondent say, not a good first impression earlier this week. So do you think they'll even take all their allotted time or put a great effort into what they have to say and present on Friday?
Well, I've heard that they're only planning actually to use one of their 2 allotted days. And I think that's partly because, frankly, they don't have that much to actually say. They don't have that many arguments. As your report mentioned, President Trump still hasn't apologized. He hasn't condemned the attack, and he hasn't said that the election was rightfully held. So there isn't much that they can do in that regard. My guess is they will focus on freedom of speech, the First Amendment, and they will continue to harp on the constitutional argument that the proceedings are not constitutional.
So an acquittal is likely, as we've been talking about all week, but could former President Trump still be censured or held accountable in another way once this trial wraps up? I mean, is this really over?
Well, there are 2 different options depending on what happens after the trial. The Senate can still censure the former president, and they can actually still vote to prevent him from holding office, because that is a separate vote. I don't have a whole lot of confidence that they're going to go in that direction, but it is theoretically possible. And then, of course, there is the judicial system and the criminal system. And I wouldn't be surprised, given the overwhelming evidence that was presented in front of the Senate today and yesterday. That's really only the tip of the iceberg in terms of the evidence that is going to continue to come out in the coming weeks. And so I think it's possible that we might see criminal charges as well.
Lindsay, you are a historian. How will history view this event years down the road? Everyone keeps saying that the date, January 6th, will never be forgotten.
I couldn't agree more. It was a really dark moment in our nation's history. There have only been 2 times when the Capitol has been invaded. The first was in the War of 1812 by the British, and the second was on January 6th by its own citizens. And so that's not an event that we're likely to forget, nor will history overlook. I think they will also see the impeachment trial and the likely acquittal as a grave injustice and a failure for Americans and a failure for the senators to hold the president accountable for his actions.
Lindsay Chervinsky, thank you for sharing your thoughts with us. We appreciate your time.